Hello everybody and welcome back to more of the 2001 Grade 8 Gauss contest. We're up to question number 9. Hopefully you've had a chance to try it for yourself. There we are, question 9. And question 9 has this interesting little 3x3 square filled with some numbers. I bet we're going to be asked to fill out some of this, but I could be wrong. So, in the square shown, the number in each row, column, and diagonal multiplied to give the same result. The sum of the two missing numbers is, okay, so we are going to have to fill out a little bit of this. So each row, column, and diagonal all multiply to give the same result. Okay, well, I wonder what that result is. Knowing that result, we could then maybe try and use that number and divide by some of the other numbers in the column and work out what these missing numbers are. Just an idea. So let's redraw our square. We have 12, 1, 18. So 12, 1, 18. And I believe there was a 6 in the middle. I think this was a 9. And I'm pretty sure that's a 3 and that's a 4. But we're going to double check just to make sure. Okay. And then we want these missing numbers here. Why don't we give them names? How about X and Y? So overall, what do we want? It's a good idea to write it down as soon as you know what you want. That way, you never sort of jump on an answer that is premature. So sometimes I find when I'm doing questions, if I don't remember what the question's originally asking me or I didn't read it all the way through, I will sometimes do a lengthy calculation to get some unknown value. Completely forget that that's not the unknown value I want. I still need to take it and do something else with it. And circle that answer, or fill that answer in, or write that answer down and assume I'm done. Okay? So it's a good idea to write out specifically what you're looking for somewhere on the page so you can always say, do I have the right answer? Well, what did I ask myself for? And in this case, we're asking for the sum of the missing numbers, sum of x plus y. Okay? And we're told that each row, so these are the rows, each column, and each diagonal. Now, sometimes they mean off diagonals as well. I don't think they do in this case. But each of these diagonals all multiply to the same value. So, now I don't know what this value is, but how about we call him C? It's some fixed constant value. Okay? Well, I can pretty quickly figure out C. Just take a row or a column that is already filled in. For example, the top row, C needs to be 12 times 1 times 18. Or I could do the second row, 9 times 6 times 4. Or I could do the third column, 18 times 4 times 3. The way the question is phrased, any of these will give me the value I want, C. Because each row, each column, and each diagonal multiply to the same value. Okay? So I'd like to figure out what C is. Okay? So 12 times 18, and now if you can't do that in your head, and that's okay, calculators are allowed, so you can certainly grab your calculator out and do 12 times 1 times 18. That's going to be 216. So that's the value of our constant. Now, what am I told? Well, I'm told that every row, column, and diagonal give me the same value, so I should know that by taking the very first column, 12 times 9 times x, should also be this constant value, which is 216. Well, if I knew what x was and I knew what y was, I could add them together. And here's a quick way of figuring out what x is. Just rearrange this equation. 216, we need to do cancel the 12 and cancel the 9. So that's 216 over, well, what's 12 times 9? I'm pretty sure that's 108. It is. And 216 over 108, again, if you can't do these calculations in your head, feel free to use your calculator. That's what it's there for. It's there to do the hard calculations so you can do the thinking and the logic and the reasoning that is important to getting these questions. So right there, I know x is equal to 2. So if I wanted to, I could redraw this little 3x3 grid and fill in x is equal to 2. So I'm sort of halfway there. I just need to figure out what y is. Well, if I take the second column, I know that 1 times 6 times y should be the constant value, which I already worked out as 216. So rearranging once again, y is 216 divided by 6 times 1, which is just 6. And we can grab our calculator and check that out. 216 divided by 6, well, that's going to be 36. But we're not done. We were asked what's the sum of the two unknown values. Well, we know each of them now. 2 and 36, so we add them up. And that's going to be 38. If we wanted to, if we were a little unsure, because of how much of this 3x3 grid is filled out, we can get x a number of different ways. You know, we could take the first column, or we could take the sort of cross-diagonal, the 18, 6, and x. And we can figure out x both ways, and we'll find that 2 actually works in both situations. Same thing with y. We can figure out y by going down that that second column like we did, 1, 6, and y, gives us 216. Or, once we figured out 2, we could have just done that bottom row, 2, y, 3. So 2 times y times 3 should be 216, and figure out y that way. So each one of these had multiple ways of working it out. You could have even done y first. Okay? So those are great checks. And if you figured out x by using that diagonal, fantastic. But we're asked to figure out the sum of the two missing numbers. We figured out it was 38. So we're going to say D, 38. And we would proudly bubble that in on our sheet. So that's question number 9. We're going to take a look at question 10. It's about a girl named Rowena, but we'll see a little bit more about her in the next video as we take a look at 10 on the 2001 Grade 8 Gauss paper.